Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the final episode of our Red Pill versus Blue Pill. My name is Dr. DeLon Canterbury. Today, we're talking about how senior care providers shouldn't be playing the blame game with our patients' lives. And I am tired of people feeling helpless, not sure how to advocate, not sure how to intervene, addressing some of those fears that people may have when it comes to the world of deprescribing. So we're going to dive on into that. Again, this is Dr. DeLon Canterbury, founder of Geriatrics and founder of the Deprescribing Accelerator, i.e., the movement where we pivot towards pharmacists leveraging their God-given skills to, again, teach, implement, empower, and advocate for our patients who are the most vulnerable of our population. So in this space, there's a lot of excuses. There's a lot of passing the buck. There's a lot of letting that be someone else's problem. No one wants to advocate. No one wants to step up and take the extra couple of minutes needed to give that level of care. And a lot of times, it's not really the provider's fault. It's the system that sucks and really ruins their chance to get, well, sustainable models. And so we're going to talk about how we can challenge that mindset and get people excited about what they can do as senior care providers, whether it be through leveraged relationships with pharmacists, nurses, other caregiver advocates, people who are in this space who see the need for better optimized medication management, but not just medication management, literally the focus of deprescribing. So the number one belief I find when it comes to these nursing homes and caregiver advocacy groups and senior care providers is a lack of confidence. They don't really know how to advocate. They don't know how to empower their clients on how to advocate for themselves. They're not sure how to ask those probing questions that get people really thinking, hey, do they truly still need that medication? And guess what? It does not take you having 8 to 12 years of med school, pharmacy school, nursing school, etc., just to be an advocate for deprescribing. So this is apply for a care assistant that are junior. Anyone who is touching a senior care or senior patient can advocate. That's really the power of deprescribing is, yes, it helps to have the know-how or supervision if you're maybe a lower ranked health professional, but ultimately it's a team-based issue. The issue is everyone who has a touch point can advocate. They can stop these harmful meds. And so again, people feel like you have to have all these titles and essentially credentials to advocate for your patient who's over-medicated on 20 meds on how to have a simple dialogue. And I'm telling you, doing this as a pharmacist just for my patients, if it's not for the caregiver asking those right questions, then nothing would even begin. Nothing would even start, right? So it didn't take me learning all the drugs to really help them challenge and push back against our status quo, which is every pill or every ill must have a pill, right? We got to get out of that mindset. And so the number one thing is to focus on how this is first everyone's problem. It's not just the provider's problem, whether the patient is suffering from side effects or potential harm, but it affects everyone down the line in the health system. So if we have, say, a patient who has dementia and has a really high falls risk, right? Say they're taking a couple meds that's causing a decline or an increase actually in their falls. And this leads to maybe problems where they have to end up in PT. Not a physical therapist is trying to motivate and do their job, yet the meds are causing their imbalance to be off or they're having sedation or whatever, right? That affects the PT's job. So if they're a touch point in the system and they're seeing concrete evidence of harm, then they have that right to advocate. They have that right to speak up, give the tools for those caregivers or those patients so they can get the right case built. So it's really easy for us to consider deprescribing. Okay, that's the first step. The second piece is there is absolutely value. When you see patients who are touching your clinical office, who essentially are using your nursing home or maybe a part of your area agency on aging or just a caregiver advocate, and you can tell from what they're saying that there's a problem with the meds, a lot of times the first thing that they say is, well, tell your doctor, right? Look, that's ideal. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so we have to use this as an opportunity to not only convey your value as a senior care provider, but how are you probing their mind? How are you advocating for them? How are you giving the extra mile and showing that there's a way out of being, flooded with pills or flooded with other health conditions that still aren't really managed for our seniors, which we know, again, have the highest risk of having these side effects. So let's talk about that. That's an opportunity for you as a senior care provider to provide a novel service. That is where you can consider leveraging one-on-one services for deprescribing with the right partnerships, using your pharmacists, using the people who know this stuff. This is where we could start considering plans and really building that lasting impact that we all know is a chronic issue, overprescribing. We know it's an issue. So what are we going to do about it? So instead of just passing the buck, playing the blame game and just saying, well, I didn't write that script. I'm the neurologist. I didn't write that. I don't want to touch it. I am so tired of hearing clinical inertia as the reason why my patients are on 20 meds. They got to have someone check off a list and say, are you still on this? Yeah. And usually that's not even effective. It's usually wrong anyway. But I'm tired of the egos of what your specialty is confining you when really the goal is the patient. It's their well-being. It's their quality of life that we all care about. That's what we need. That's what we need. And I'd be damned if I'm a senior and people aren't doing this for me, right? And I'm out of it. I can't advocate for myself if I have a cognitive impairment. So what are we going to do about it? So again, the medication mindset, I will keep saying till the cows come home, is what we have to change. That is the problem. That's what translates to $1 trillion of spend, almost $500 billion of spend on our healthcare from our taxpayers. That's what leads to 275,000 deaths a year. And that's really the bare minimum. We know it's probably more, it's underreported, but that's just an estimate, okay? So we know the system ain't working. We know we're not using deprescribers, i.e. pharmacists, at the top of their license. But the truth is, pharmacists are great, but nurses can do this. Social workers can do this. Gerontologists can do this. Nursing homes can do this. Adult day care homes can do this. Home health agencies can do this. They can provide that service when someone's coming with an issue of overmedication and really future-proof themselves for value-based care. Look, we got a growing population. We got less providers. We got less geriatricians. We have less resources. And sadly, we got less money. 2026 is when the Medicare fund dries up. So what are we going to do then? What's our health system going to do then? They're going to find ways to cut costs. And if we can cut costs by getting people off of harmful meds and advocating and providing this as a service, not only can you grow your revenue, grow your clientele, work on your business model, but damn, we're doing what we're supposed to do. We're doing what we're ethically in this field to do, and that's to advocate and empower and reduce harm. That's part of my oath as a pharmacist, is to do no harm. Simple and plain. Making sure everything is effective and safe for our patients. So we got to get out of this mindset of making these excuses, because that's all I hear are excuses as well. It's not my role. It's not my specialty. It was already on. The patient's been on it for years, so why stop it? That's all BS, okay? That's all BS. Everyone who touches a patient has that same role. And yeah, we may not get paid that way like some of the providers do, but we have a duty to make this happen. But even further, you can get paid that way. Maybe not through the traditional lens you may think of, but you can get paid doing this type of work. So it's more than just having some letters after your last name. And people, honestly, in this space, because they may feel they don't have the training or the background or the expertise, they may feel like they're overstepping their role to ask those tough questions to providers. You're not if you're doing what is best for the patient. You're not. So again, we can't think from the silo. We got to think from what is truly the best. What is truly the best for our patients. So get this out of your mind that you are overstepping by asking whether your patients are on way too many meds, or if they're having more falls, or if they're seeing more side effects, or if there's been a change with any doses, or any change in cognition. There are so many avenues that you can leverage deprescribing, more than just a traditional, okay, let's just stop the med. That's a piece of it, but there's so much more work that goes into this. Then that's the vision that we are bringing to fruition with the Deprescribing Accelerator. So people are afraid of pushing back on the provider. And I'm telling you, the provider just needs help. The provider wants help. They want good evidence-based quality that reduces the time that they are wasting on repeat offenders for the healthcare system. And unfortunately, they got to meet those metrics. So they're just trying to save time, maintain adequate staffing, and not get dinged. Okay? So providers, when they see an opportunity to do that, especially with value-based care, deprescribing, holistic, integrative care, they will jump on it. Now, systemically, there's an issue for sure, but in their heart, bro, every surveys show 80 to 90% of doctors want deprescribing to happen actively in their practice. The problem is about 40% have no clue on how to make this happen. They don't get trained on this. They're not paid or reimbursed to do this. So why would they? And again, this feeds into the fee-for-service model that our hungry Medicare system loves to capitalize on. And we got to stop with the BS and stop playing the game of just putting it onto the next person who sees the patient. And that's what I see. Putting it onto the next person or the next issue until someone dies. And then suddenly it's written off as, well, it was just another medical anomaly, just another statistic. You know, it didn't have to be that way. And we got to do better to make this happen. So let's not start overthinking on your role and start really focusing on the value that you're bringing to the table, because that provider is going to want you if you're consistently building a systems-based approach to deprescribing. That's going to help grow your business, grow your clientele, and even grow your one-on-one services if you're someone capable of doing actual deprescribing as a pharmacist. But it doesn't stop there. Nurses can do all this too. So the truth is, we neglect the cost of inaction. We neglect the cost of not doing a damn thing. Whether it's in business, whether it's personal, whether it's for your client, whether it's, everything can be seen as an opportunity. And this is our prime time to do what we were supposed to do while we're here. Look, I was there. I was depressed, man. I hated my life in retail pharmacy. I hated walking in, shoveling pills, knowing damn well they don't need half the stuff. But I can't say anything because it's what I'm supposed to do. I don't want to live that life anymore. I can't live that life anymore. I ain't going back to that life. I can't. Why? I can't do that. My soul would not let me do that, especially knowing the value that I can offer and can teach others to also provide in their business and their senior care organization, or their training for their potential staff who want to become medical assistants or nurse providers who aren't really sure about the deprescribing world. Providers don't have a clue, but they want to do this. And those in the know, they know, but the majority do not. And that, my friend, is why this ain't changing. So we got to change. We got to make this a movement. You have to make this mandated and federally funded, to be honest. We have to change policy. But what do you have to lose in advocating? Really, let's talk about that. Let's approach these fears on why you think your nursing home or your home health agency can't leverage a pharmacist or Deprescriber to create a plan that systemically improves care. And that means you get more money because you're hitting those quality metrics, you're hitting those measures, you're doing what you got to do for value-based care, but most importantly, the patient is happy, healthy, and satisfied. That's why we're in this. We're not the CEOs of our health. The patient is the CEO of their health. They've always been. We're just guides on the journey, but it's all about the patient, right? So don't be afraid to do what you're ethically supposed to do in advocating for your patient, no matter who says what or what title's after their name. If you know it's ethically, morally right and what needs to be done, no health system should prevent you from doing that, like it did for me the last 6 years of my career as a pharmacy manager. That ain't right, and I can't do that anymore. So you really don't have anything to lose. In fact, you have more to gain by being the advocate, by knowing what tools you can check quickly, just because of you've got the access on what can be done to deprescribe potentially harmful meds. And when you have that added help, that added tool, they're going to tell the doctor. And that doctor's going to want to know, I didn't think about that. This can work. Oh, wait, why not? Or, maybe we talk more and consider another option. Whatever. The point is, providers need help. So there shouldn't be any blame game. There shouldn't be any egos. There should be a team-based approach, right? That's the whole goal of this. It should be team-based. And we all have our own gifts. So we have to use them in an integrated manner and focus on minimizing waste because we're not managing the costs of inaction, the cost of not doing what we're supposed to do. So I challenge you to choose the red pill, break free from this system. Check out our Deprescribing Accelerator. We will be starting next week, next Thursday. We got a couple seats left, 2 actually. So apply while you can. I'm still taking some last minute applications. So if you're interested, schedule a meeting under Deprescribing Accelerator at www.geriatrics.as.me. But you ain't got nothing to lose. Maybe a little bit of your time, maybe a little bit of energy, maybe a little bit of a philosophy change, a medication mindset shift for your team, for your senior care organization. Maybe that's what you got to do. A little bit of time. But this is going to be tenfold value for our communities and for our seniors and for our caregivers, who I feel are still very much neglected and underappreciated in the world of senior care. So that's my TED Talk. Choose the red pill, join our cohort, check out the Deprescribing Accelerator, leverage your business, but more importantly, serve these patients like we're supposed to. All right. I'm Dr. DeLon Canterbury, again, Chief Deprescriber. Much love to you all. Appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, and I'll see you in our courses. Take care.